Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Muhammad Aziz Syafiq bin Zakaria. My matric number 20229171 and 75. And today my group will be presenting about financial analysis performance of the Malaysian company, which is Petron Corporation, during the last 3 years, which is 2020, 2021 and 2022. Okay, next we go to the background of the company. First, Petron Corporation, the largest oil refining and marketing company in the Philippines. At its core, Petron is headquartered at Petron Mega Plaza in Makati, Philippines, with a refinery in Limay, Bataan, boasting a capacity of 180,000 barrels per day. They efficiently distribute their product to 32 depots and terminals not only in the Philippines but also in Malaysia. Petron's product range is extensive, covering everything from LP gas and petrol to aviation turbine fuel, lubricant, and grease. The blending plant plays a crucial role in producing mechanical lubricants. Beyond their oil business, Petron has made a mark in sports. They established the Petron Blaze Spikers, a professional women's volleyball team that plays in the Philippine Superliga PSL during 2013 and 2020. This is also including Petron Blaze Boosters during the Arvin Santos era in 2011 and 2014 before it changed to San Miguel Beerman. Lastly, Petronas Corporation has been handled by 4 key people. They are Ramon S. Ang as a chairman, president and CEO, Lubin B. Nepomuceno as a general manager, Emmanuel E. Erana as an SVP and CFO.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Izzat Hamid bin Shoy. My matric number is 2022746075, and today I will be presenting about the liquidity ratio of the Petron that consists of current ratio, quick ratio and cash ratio. Firstly, current ratio. From the calculation, we can view that the Petron current ratio is increasing from 0.75 times in 2020 to 0.97 times in 2021. On top of that, the current ratio is increased to 1.10 times in 2022. The higher the ratio indicate the better the performance of the company, as it shows the firm is able to meet short-term obligation as they come to due and lower chance of short-term solvency. The best year of the current ratio is in 2022. Next, quick ratio. We can view that the Petron quick ratio is increasing from 0.36 times in 2022 to 0.55 times in 2021. On top of that, the quick ratio is increased to 0.64 times in 2022. The lower the ratio indicate the bad the performance of the company, as it show lower ability of the firm to pay short-term obligation without having a relay on the sale of the inventory and prepaid. That tend to be less liquid of the current asset. The best year of the quick ratio is 2022. And lastly, cash ratio. From the calculation, we can view that the Petron cash ratio is decreasing from 0.13 times in 2020 to 0.12 times in 2021. On top of that, the current ratio is decreased to 0.09 times in 2022. As we all know, lower cash ratio means that the company has insufficient cash on hand as this to pay off short-term debt, or they cannot easily pay off its short-term debt. The best year of the cash ratio is in 2020. The conclusion, the best year of liquidity ratio is during 2022.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Zakwan bin Rahman. So for our group, we have 7 types of asset management ratios. Okay, the first one is account receivable turnover. From the calculation, we can view that Petron account receivable turnover is decreasing from 29.19 times in 2020 to 10.25 times in 2021. However, the account receivable turnover is increased to 14.44 times in 2022. The higher the ratio indicate, the better the performance of the company, as it shows the firm manages well the credit is it extends to customer and the customers pay back on times. The best year is 2020. The next one is average collection period. From the calculation, we can view that Petron average collection period is increasing from 12.33 days in 2020 to 35 0.12 days in 2021. However, the average collection period is decreased to 24.93 days in 2022. The lower the average collection period of the company is assumed as more better than take a long time to get the money back. The best year is 2020. Then, the inventory turnover ratio, ITO. From the calculation, we can view that Petron inventory turnover ratio is decreasing from 14.99 times in 2020 to 9.67 times in 2021. However, the inventory turnover ratio is increased to 16.34 days in 2022. The low turnover implies that a company's sales are poor. It carrying too much inventory of experiencing poor inventory management. Unsold inventory can face significant risk from the fluctuating market prices and obsolescence. The best year is 2022. Last but not least, account payable turnover, APT. And from the calculation, we can view that Petron account payable turnover is decreasing from 9.93 times in 2020 to 8.21 times in 2021. However, accounts payable turnover is increased to 14.63 times in 2022. This indicates that the company is performing well in account payable turnover ratio. The best year is 2022. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Raja Muhammad Rafiq Beraja Azizam. My matrix number 2022917325. Okay, and I'm going to present about account payable turnover in days, APT, for Petron company. From the calculation, we can view that Petron account payable turnover in days is increasing from 36.25 in 2020 to 43.85 in 2021. However, account payable turnover in days is decreased to 24.61 in 2022. The decrease in account payable turnover can be marked as good as it is show the company is well managed their debt payment. And the conclusion, the best year for Petron is 2022. Okay, so for the next one is fixed asset turnover ratio. From the calculation, we can view that Petron fixed asset turnover ratio is decreasing from 7.81 in 2022 to 4.19 in 2021. However, fixed asset turnover ratio is increased to 6.87 in 2022. Lower ratios indicate the lower revenues can generate per ringgit of investment in fixed asset. So the best year for Petron is 2022. Okay, so for the last one is total asset turnover ratio, TOA. What we can view that Petron total asset turnover ratio is decreasing from 2.11 in 2020 to 2.01 in 2021. However, total asset turnover ratio is increased to 3.74 in 2022. Other than investment in marketable securities, every other asset, especially long-term investment, inventories, short-term loans, and cash balance had gone up substantially. Profit margin may not be the actual reason for the turnover to go down. So the best year for Petron is 2020. Thank you.
As for the probability ratio, it consists of net profit margin, gross profit margin, return on asset, return on equity, and operating profit margin ratio. So, for the first element, net profit margin, from the calculation, we can view that the Petron net profit margin is increasing from 0.002 times in 2020 to 0.028 times in 2021. However, the net profit margin is decreased to 0.017 times in 2022. The lower the net profit margin means that its company use an effective cost structure or poor pricing strategy. The best year of the net profit margin in 2021. Next, gross profit margin. From the calculation, we can view that Petron gross profit margin is increased from 0.026 times in 2020 to 0.062 times in 2021. However, the gross profit margin is decreased to 0.030 times in 2022. The higher the gross profit margin, the better the performance of the company. As it shows, the best year is in 2021. The third element, which is return on asset. From the calculation, we can view that Petron return on asset ratio is increased from 0.004 times in 2020 to 0.056 times in 2021. On top of that, the return on asset ratio is increased to 0.063 times in 2022. The higher the return on total asset, the better the company performance. The best year of the return on asset is in 2022. Next is return on equity. From the calculation, we can view that the Petron return on equity is increasing from 0.013 times in 2020 to 0.156 times in 2021. However, the return on equity is decreased to 0.136 times in 2022. Low return on equity it simply means that the business is not very efficient in generating profit. In other words, it also tells you that the business is not worth investing in since the management simply cannot make a very good use of investor money. The best year of the return on equity of the Petron is in 2021. And lastly, the operating profit margin. From the calculation, we can view that the Petron operating profit margin ratio is increased from 0.003 times in 2020 to 0.039 times in 2021. However, the return on equity is decreased to 0.018 times in 2022. During those years, the sale has increased but operating expenses has decreased. As the result, throughout the operating margin increased, but the ratio has failed to increase because of the high operating cost. From this discussion, we can see that the firm has failed to control its operating cost in the company. The best year of the operating profit margin ratio is in 2021. As the conclusion, the best year of the profitability ratio of the Petron was during the year of 2021.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. My name is Adam bin Pauzi. So today I will do some analysis based on the data, debt ratio and market ratio. Okay, let's go to the debt ratio first. Okay, based on the analysis, the debt ratio decreased from year to year minimally in 2021 and 2022. In 2021, the debt ratio decreased to 54.17% from 75.35% in 2020. In year 2020, the ratio was decreased from 54.17% to 53.47% in 2022. Lower debt ratio indicate lower financial risk. The best debt ratio was in year 2020. So next, let's go to time interest earn ratio. So based on my analysis, in the decision, we realized that the higher ratio of time interest earned, it indicates the company has higher ability to pay the interest from their opportunity income. So increase of this ratio in 2021 from 2020 in Petron company, those indicate that the company is paying more interest, which is 33.29 times from 39.58 times. Nevertheless, on 2021 and 2022, Petron are not paying more interest because of that company has no decline from previous year, or for that reason, we think those company has best condition for time interest earned. Now, let's move to book value per share ratio. As we can see on the data, on the 2020, 12.19%, on the 2021, 13.77%, on the 2022, 15.51%. So we do some conclusion and analysis. Based on our analysis, book the value ratio for the past 3 years of the company can be said as good because it keeps increasing from year to year. The higher book value ratio shows that the company is doing well. The best year for book value ratio is in 2022, which show the highest and better position in share market. And last, market value ratio. So based on our analysis, earnings per share is calculated as company profit divided by the outstanding shares of its common stock. The graph above shows the earning per share of Petron in 2020 to 2022. According to the table above, earning per share of Petron in 2020 are negative RM0.098. In 2021 was RM1.72. Also for 2022, RM2.18. It shows that the company did not generate net profit in 2020, but this company still can manage to produce profit afterward. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, finally for the conclusion, the year 2020 has the finest debt coverage ratios, and the year 2020 also has the best book value per share when it comes to interest generate time debts. In terms of market value ratios, 2022 is the ideal year. We may conclude from the overall ratio study that beginning in 2021, the Petron's performance will decline. We may observe from the financial report that profit increased beginning in 2020 and continuing through 2022. Compared to net profit of 236 million in 2017, Petron had a net loss of 11 million, indicating a significant rise in net profit after tax. For the analysis, we can say that a big corporation in a market has up and down based on the Petron assessment performance report. A corporation has to be able to take initiative to resolve internal issues and be willing to take a significant risk in order to reap the benefit of high return for both the company and its shareholder in order to maximize profit and maintain sustainability in the market. That's all from us. Thank you.